3,000-year-old chariot, unexpectedly discovered in ancient tomb, shocks archaeologists. Hello, dear friends. Throughout the vast and unending flow of human history, countless brilliant civilizations have once existed, only to vanish suddenly without a trace or a single farewell. These civilizations may have been buried by devastating natural disasters, obliterated by brutal wars, or even disappeared due to reasons that remain a mystery to modern science. Over thousands of years, what remains from the past are merely fragments of artifacts and the ruins of once great sites. Yet, within these remnants lies an immeasurable value. They are the most vivid traces of a glorious golden age that humanity once experienced. However, what continues to baffle the scientific community is that some artifacts, though excavated long ago, still defy explanation. Their true origins and original purposes remain unknown to this day. From forgotten ancient cities buried deep underground to the oldest known cemetery in Africa with its peculiar architecture and burial rites, or horse-drawn carriages mysteriously entombed in ancient graves, each is an incomplete piece of the grand puzzle of history, making the journey to uncover the truth more captivating than ever. Are you someone who loves to explore? Are you drawn to unraveling mysteries from the past? If so, then in today's video, join me as we delve into some of the most mysterious artifacts ever discovered, each one hiding untold stories and secrets that could reshape how we see our history. And without keeping you waiting any longer, let's begin right now. The 3,000-year-old bronze chariot, inlaid with thousands of turquoise pieces. The story starts at the Chuyuan archaeological site in Xiajia village, northwest Shanxi province, China, where archaeologists from the Shanxi Institute of Archaeology uncovered a remarkable artifact in 2017. Initially, they only found scattered traces and thousands of broken fragments buried underground for millennia. But through expertise and perseverance, the team quickly realized they were standing before one of the most important archaeological finds in China, a bronze horse-drawn chariot dating back to the Western Zhou period, roughly from 1046 to 771 BCE. But that's not all. During the excavation, the team also discovered the skeletons of 4 horses near the chariot, revealing these were the companions that once pulled this vehicle in ancient times. DNA analysis showed these were purebred, mature horses that were well cared for, reflecting the high status of the chariot's owner. The restoration work began like assembling a massive jigsaw puzzle. After carefully cleaning each bronze fragment, archaeologists painstakingly reconstructed every detail and contour. The result did not disappoint. The chariot measures an impressive 10.27 feet long, 8.86 feet wide, and stands 4.92 feet tall. While mainly made of bronze, the most stunning feature is the decoration. Thousands of turquoise and jade pieces are intricately inlaid, accompanied by sharp animal motifs and some painted components. According to researcher Wang Zhangqi, the wear marks on the wheels suggest this chariot was rarely used. It wasn't a typical war chariot, but rather a ceremonial vehicle reserved for high-ranking nobles during the Western Zhou dynasty. Because of this, its craftsmanship, beauty, and luxury were prioritized over practicality. Another interesting point, shared by expert Huang Xiaozhuan, is the turquoise inlay on the chariot. Hundreds of these precious stones not only enhance its aesthetic value, but also provide valuable data, helping archaeologists understand ancient craftsmanship techniques and aesthetics. Thus, the chariot is not just a means of transportation, but an artistic masterpiece symbolizing power and social status in the glorious Western Zhou era. To date, this is only the second horse-drawn chariot successfully excavated and restored in China, and the only fully intact bronze chariot found. The restoration process has been completed, and the archaeological team plans to rebuild the entire original structure of the chariot to create a complete model as it appeared nearly 3 millennia ago. This artifact will soon be displayed at the Shanxi Archaeological Museum, open to the public and visitors worldwide to admire this treasure. Valuable not only archaeologically, but also as a symbol of the peak cultural, artistic, and technological development during the Western Zhou period. If you love history, don't miss the chance to witness such a timeless masterpiece. A 3,000-year-old tomb reveals the life of a Shang dynasty general. In November 2000, archaeologists from the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences began a preliminary survey of a site near Anyang City, Henan Province, in central China. Using a special tool called the Luoyang shovel, originally invented by grave robbers and later adopted by archaeologists, they dug through the frozen ground during winter. The site contained remains related to Yinshu, the last capital of the Shang dynasty, China's first historically verified dynasty. They identified a tomb labeled M54. As the cold intensified, the team postponed excavation until spring, waiting for the ice to thaw. But by mid-December, word of the tomb's discovery had spread, attracting grave robbers. Worried about looting, archaeologists accelerated their work. After a week clearing the soil atop the tomb, the result was astonishing. Beneath the earth lay a large burial pit perfectly preserved, containing the remains of a late Shang noble. The tomb's earthen walls stand nearly 5.9 feet high, surrounding a black lacquered wooden chamber. Inside was a deep red lacquer coffin, surrounded by numerous burial goods, including 15 human sacrificial victims, sacrificed dogs, and various objects meant for life in the afterworld. After 40 days of excavation, archaeologists uncovered 579 artifacts made of bronze, jade, pottery, stone, bone, shell, bamboo, ivory, and gold leaf. In terms of quantity, M54 is the second largest tomb excavated at Yinshu, second only to the tomb of Fu Hao, queen of King Wu Ding and a famous female general in ancient China. In the following years, artifacts were cleaned, restored, and analyzed. They provide archaeologists with detailed insight into the noble life of one of the earliest and most powerful Chinese kingdoms. Bronze artifacts were the most common finds at Shang sites. M54 contained 256 bronze items, the most notable being a bronze wine vessel shaped like an ox, measuring 15.7 inches long, 20.7 inches wide, and 8.9 inches tall from lid to base, weighing 15.7 pounds. The vessel's lid and body were initially found far apart in the chamber, with the body shattered into many fragments. Technician Wang Haoyi painstakingly reassembled the pieces, fabricated missing parts, and welded them to restore the vessel's original form. The vessel was designed after the wild water buffalo, also called the short-horned buffalo, that once lived across the central Chinese plains and mid to lower Yangtze River region. This species is now extinct, but their bones are commonly found at Yinshu. Another remarkable artifact is a jade dagger, 10 inches long, 1.1 to 1.3 inches wide, and 0.2 inches thick. You might not know, but Ye Shuxian, head of the Chinese Mythology Association and jade expert, once described jade worship as a hallmark of Chinese civilization, highlighting jade's great value and importance at the time. M54 contained 224 jade artifacts, second only to bronze in quantity. At Yinshu, jade was typically found only in royal and noble tombs, rarely in commoner graves. This further emphasizes the high status of M54's occupant. Like many other items in the tomb, the dagger evidences the Shang dynasty's advanced craftsmanship. Artisans inherited and refined jade carving techniques, producing complex designs with balanced patterns and exquisite details. Among all artifacts from M54, the bronze hand is the most puzzling. In nearly a century of excavations at Yinshu, no similar item has ever been found. Some suggest it was used to retrieve meat from ritual cauldrons. Others suspect it might be a scepter or even a back scratcher. According to excavation leader He Yuling, the hand might be a prosthetic limb. The tomb's occupant apparently lost part of his arm, and the bronze hand was placed nearby. He could have lost his hand before death, so descendants buried the prosthetic alongside him. However, whether he used the prosthetic in life remains unknown. He Yuling cautioned, "This is just speculation," noting that archaeology often leaves many unsolved mysteries, which is part of its allure. So, who was buried in tomb M54? The answer is relatively straightforward. All 131 bronze items bear inscriptions reading Ya Zhang or Zhang. In the Shang dynasty, Ya denoted a military commander, while Zhang could be a family name. Therefore, the occupant was likely General Zhang, also the clan head. The tomb's vast weapon collection, including 7 bronze axes, attests to General Zhang's military achievements. The largest axe weighs 13.1 pounds, decorated with intricate patterns, showing signs of wear from battle. Modern scientific techniques provide more clues. Strontium and oxygen isotope analysis of General Zhang's bones indicate he was not a native of Yinshu, but came from over 186 miles away. He died at age 35 under unusual circumstances. His skeleton bears 7 clear wounds, including 3 sharp cuts about 0.4 inches long on his left upper arm, slashes on his left ribs and behind his thigh, and a severe wound through his right pelvis that shows no healing. The strangest discovery was a large quantity of roasted Sichuan peppercorns found with the remains. This spice, harvested from aromatic shrubs native to southwest China, was used for cooking and fragrance. But why was it found with General Zhang? Based on bone wounds and burial items, scientists speculate that General Zhang led his troops bravely until struck by a spear in the abdomen. His body may have been fought over by opposing forces, explaining the deep rib cuts. Ultimately, his soldiers won, preventing decapitation or mutilation but unable to save him. They brought his body back to the capital, using spices to mask odors. The Shang king then honored General Zhang with a grand burial befitting his social rank and military achievements. A 1,500-year-old mummy time travels with Adidas sneakers. An ancient mummy lay silent for 1,500 years beneath the cold rocky soil of the Altai Mountains, only to be unexpectedly discovered. Not because of a terrifying appearance or unusual posture, but because of a pair of shoes that look exactly like Adidas sneakers. It sounds like the plot of a humorous sci-fi movie, but this is a completely true story announced earlier this week in Mongolia. Specifically, archaeologists working in the Altai mountain region stunned the world when they shared the first photos of a mummy dated about 1,500 years old, excavated at an altitude of over 9,200 feet inside an ancient Turkic tomb approximately 10 feet deep, considered one of the most intact Turkic tombs ever found in Central Asia. However, what made this mummy a viral sensation on social media was not just its historical value, but the shoes worn on its feet. A pair of shoes with diagonal stripe patterns, strikingly similar to Adidas's iconic Gazelle model, one of the legendary sneaker lines. It didn't take long for the online community to discover this bizarre coincidence. One Facebook user humorously commented, "That must be an authentic pair of Adidas Gazelles. I own a few pairs but have never worn any for 1,500 years." On Twitter, the photo quickly went viral with comments like, "Time travel is real," and "She's from the future, no doubt," turning this archaeological story into one of the hottest global social media topics. Back to its archaeological significance, researchers say the mummy is likely female, as there were no signs of bows or arrows, common male warrior tools in ancient Turkic culture. Instead, the tomb was found with a richly preserved burial ensemble, including reins, a saddle, a leather pouch, a ceramic flask, a wooden bowl, an iron pot, a pillow, and notably, the intact remains of a horse. This indicates a high level of respect for the deceased and a significant social status of this woman in the ancient community. Some clothing items were also well preserved due to the naturally cold conditions of the high mountain region. Another exciting detail for scientists was the materials used in the burial clothes. Besides cotton and sheep wool, researchers at the Kovdi Museum Institute, where the mummy is currently kept, discovered fabric fragments woven from camel hair, showing that the ancient Turkic people possessed advanced weaving techniques and utilized a diverse range of animal resources early on. These details paint a vivid picture of life in Central Asia thousands of years ago, a community skilled in animal husbandry, crafting household items, horseback riding, with complex funeral rituals, and even impressive fashion sense. Archaeologists believe that further study of the mummy and its accompanying artifacts will offer deeper insights into the culture, society, religion, and even fashion of the ancient Turkic people. Everyday objects, from the wooden bowl to the leather pouch and even the ancient Adidas shoes, serve as priceless clues linking the past to the present, sometimes making us question, can history truly travel back in time? Whether those shoes are genuinely pioneers of sports fashion or just a miraculous coincidence in ancient handcrafted design, the Altai mummy is telling its story in a truly unique way. A story both rich in archaeology and full of entertainment value, captivating not only historians but also the global online community. What about you? What do you think about this discovery? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. A 12-ton treasure unearthed beneath an ancient Middle Eastern palace. You won't believe what archaeologists have just uncovered beneath the ancient soil of Nineveh, the legendary capital of the Neo-Assyrian Empire more than 12,600 years ago. Recently, a team of archaeologists from Heidelberg University, Germany, excavated an archaeological treasure that stunned the world. A giant, exquisitely carved bas-relief located in the throne room of the Northern Palace, once the seat of power for Assyria's last great king, Ashurbanipal, who reigned from 668 to 627 BCE. This palace is situated in the ancient city of Nineveh, now in northern Iraq, a land rich in history that witnessed the height of Assyrian civilization. It was not only an architectural marvel, but also a symbol of the power of an empire that stretched across modern-day Iraq and reached into parts of Syria, Turkey, and Iran. At first glance, the bas-relief astonished experts with its unprecedented size and craftsmanship, standing 18 feet tall and weighing approximately 12 tons. A massive stone block painstakingly hand-carved with precision and artistry that impresses even modern viewers. At the center of the artwork is the imposing image of King Ashurbanipal, depicted in a majestic and dignified pose, surrounded by symbolic divine figures of ancient Mesopotamia. Flanking the king are two supreme deities, Ashur, the Assyrian god of war and sky, and Ishtar, the goddess of love, war, and fertility, as well as the patron deity of Nineveh. Behind them, other mythological figures appear vividly, including a half-human, half-fish creature believed to bring life and salvation to both gods and king, alongside a mysterious scorpion-shaped figure with raised arms, adding to the bas-relief's enigmatic and captivating nature. More than just a sculpture, this bas-relief is considered a precious archive, providing the clearest portraits ever found of Assyrian gods, along with rare insights into the religious beliefs, political ideologies, and relationships between kings and deities of that era. Though partially damaged by time and war, many critical details have been well preserved. Notably, the archaeological team identified a winged sun disk symbol, a motif commonly found in ancient Middle Eastern art and religion, often associated with divine power or supreme royal authority. This detail not only confirms the bas-relief's role in court rituals, but also opens new avenues for studying the relationship between symbols and power in ancient times. Currently, the team is using modern technologies to analyze the images, textures, symbols, and carving techniques of the bas-relief while mapping the archaeological space around the throne room. According to plans, all data and in-depth analyses will be officially published in an international scientific journal in the coming months, promising to shed more light on the reign of Ashurbanipal and the Great Assyrian Empire. This discovery is not just an artistic or historical milestone, it is a testament to the intelligence, talent, and authority of a civilization once considered the dominant power of the ancient Middle East. The unearthing of the bas-relief has revived a long-buried chapter of history, deepening humanity's understanding of cultural origins, religious beliefs, and the quest for power over 12,600 years ago. And I believe that if you're passionate about archaeology and love uncovering mysteries hidden beneath the dust of time, this is a story you absolutely can't miss. 3,700-year-old ancient dagger, discovered at a school. Recently, an 8-year-old girl accidentally discovered an ancient dagger estimated to be 3,700 years old while playing in her schoolyard in Vestland County, western Norway. The girl's name is Elise. On what seemed like an ordinary day, Elise picked up a grayish-brown stone with a strange shape. No one could have guessed that the small object in her hand was actually a prehistoric dagger, crafted around 3,700 years ago, during the Stone Age, one of the oldest periods in human history. With the curiosity and innocence of childhood, Elise handed the strange stone to her teacher. Fortunately, the teacher recognized that this roughly 4.7-inch long object was anything but ordinary. It showed signs of workmanship and an ancient style, and immediately contacted archaeologists from the Vestland County Council to examine the artifact. When the expert team arrived and conducted a closer inspection, they confirmed it was indeed a dagger from the Middle or Late Stone Age, a time when humans began sharpening stones into tools, domesticating animals, farming, building permanent villages, and developing crafts. What makes this discovery especially significant is that daggers of this type are extremely rare and often found buried as part of sacrificial rituals. The appearance of such an item right in the middle of a modern schoolyard raises many intriguing questions for archaeologists. Given the artifact's importance, the Vestland County Council quickly partnered with the University Museum of Vestland in Bergen, Norway's second-largest cultural center, to expand the investigation of the surrounding area. However, up to now, no additional archaeological evidence has been uncovered at the site, making this dagger even more mysterious and unique. Another aspect that fascinates researchers is the dagger's material. Upon examination, they found it was made from flint, a very hard sedimentary rock commonly used in prehistoric times for weapons and tools. Notably, flint is not naturally found in Norway but is more prevalent in regions like Denmark. This leads to the hypothesis that the dagger may have been brought from Denmark to Norway across the North Sea, either through ancient trade exchanges or possibly by natural movement of Ice Age glaciers. Of course, this is not the first time flint artifacts have been found in Norway, but this discovery is particularly meaningful as it connects to migration, trade, and the culture of prehistoric peoples in Northern Europe. To understand better, we need to look at an overview of the Stone Age in Norway, which lasted roughly from 10,000 BCE to 1800 BCE. During this period, the first inhabitants mainly lived along the coastline, hunting wild animals, fishing in the sea, and gathering in dense forests. To survive, they relied on tools like spears, axes, hooked harpoons, bows and arrows, and fishing hooks made from stone, animal bones, and wood. Around 4,400 years ago, some hunter-gatherer groups began settling down and transitioning to agriculture, marking a significant shift in ancient society. Therefore, the fact that a child today could accidentally find such a precious relic from that era in a modern setting like a schoolyard is not only an interesting coincidence, but perhaps a vivid testament to a past still waiting to be uncovered right beneath our feet. Giant pyramid emerges along a highway. Can you imagine this? Amid the bustling construction of a modern highway in Hidalgo State, Mexico, a place you'd expect only the sounds of machinery and dust, a mystery sleeping underground for over 1,000 years suddenly revealed itself. A giant pre-Hispanic pyramid. What sounds like a plot from an adventure sci-fi movie became reality, leaving the entire crew building Federal Highway 105 stunned when they stumbled upon an ancient structure right beneath their feet. Almost immediately, all construction in the area was halted to make way for an urgent excavation led by experts from the National Institute of Anthropology and History of Mexico, INAH. According to an official INAH press release, the newly discovered structure has been temporarily named Structure 1. It is the central part of an ancient settlement previously unknown, called San Miguel, after the nearby town of San Miguel Mezquititlan. But surprises kept coming when archaeologists found that the site wasn't just a single pyramid. It's a complex ancient settlement made up of 5 distinct areas with at least 10 earthen mounds, dating from the Epiclassic period, roughly 650 to 950 AD, through the late post-classic period, 1350 to 1519 AD. This era is pre-Hispanic, before the Spanish conquest of Tenochtitlan, the Aztec Empire's capital, in 1521, a turning point that reshaped the entire history of Central America. The discovery of Structure 1 is more than just uncovering a pyramid. It's a gateway to the past that brings archaeologists closer to understanding the lifestyle, beliefs, and society of the indigenous people who once lived in the Sierra Alta Mountains, a rugged terrain rich with yet-to-be-explored heritage. During the excavation, experts uncovered 155 valuable artifacts, ranging from finely crafted pottery, ancient shells, stone tools, to construction materials like lime, charcoal, and burnt wood, all contributing to a story buried for over a millennium. Notably, the pyramid's base was found to have a stone wall stretching about 141 feet, built to reinforce the entire structure, a testament to the advanced engineering skills and social organization of the ancient community. For preservation reasons, after completing detailed measurements, analysis, and documentation, Structure 1 was reburied underground. This approach balances heritage conservation with modern infrastructure development, allowing the highway project to proceed without erasing this important historical site. Another intriguing detail is that researchers from INAH believe the San Miguel settlement and pyramid might be closely connected to the Metzga lordship, a group that once inhabited and ruled the Sierra Alta region of Hidalgo during pre-Hispanic times. If this hypothesis is confirmed through further study, It would provide a crucial link to better understanding the power dynamics and social structures of ancient Central America, especially in the Barranca de Metztitlan area, which historians suggest may have hosted some of the earliest human settlements dating back 14,000 years. Once again, Mexico proves that beneath every layer of soil and rock lies hidden history waiting to be uncovered, from giant pyramids and magnificent civilizations to the earliest traces of ancient humanity. A 11,500 feet high water tomb reveals secrets of the Silk Road. More than 4 decades ago, China first discovered the Tibetan royal tomb complex, consisting of over 100 burial sites of various sizes in the Weihai area, Dalinka County, Qinghai Province in western China. This monumental discovery remains a source of ongoing research, as Chinese experts continue to uncover historical stories from the artifacts buried there. The name Weihai means hot water, referring to the numerous hot springs in the region that have existed for thousands of years. The hot water of Weihai is like holy water, precious as a golden spring, remarked Emperor Kangxi after repeatedly coming here to cleanse his body and spirit from the dust of war since 1678. Not only does Weihai boast these valuable hot springs, but it is also home to an extensive tomb complex designated by China as a national treasure. The story began in 1982 when Qinghai's Archaeology and Cultural Relics team accidentally discovered a group of ancient tombs during a cultural relics survey in the town of Weihai, Dalinka County. Soon after, the Qinghai Institute of Cultural Relics and Archaeology launched a full-scale investigation. Between 1982 and 2024, a large team of Chinese and international archaeologists conducted 4 unprecedented excavations at Jingpeng Pass on the Tibetan Plateau. They uncovered the Tibetan Royal Tomb Complex with over 100 tombs scattered between elevations of approximately 10,500 feet to 11,500 feet above sea level in Weihai. The tombs span roughly 4.3 miles across 4 villages and date from the 8th to the 9th centuries AD. Since the tomb complex was discovered in Weihai, it is also called the Weihai tombs or hot water tombs. What astonished Chinese archaeological circles is that this is the largest Tibetan tomb complex ever found within the country. So, what treasures did China unearth from this massive mine of cultural heritage? First and foremost, the complex revealed a true treasure trove, not just gold and silver, but exquisite artifacts. Among the more than 100 tombs, scientists found countless pieces of jewelry and objects made of gold and silver from Sogdia, ancient Iran, luxurious silk fabrics, agate beads, bronze plates, bronze perfume bottles, as well as many noble items and cultural relics. They also uncovered extremely rare artifacts of great historical value, such as precious wooden items and numerous silk brocades, some embroidered with gold thread, marking the first such discovery in China, and high-quality Persian textiles comparable to modern craftsmanship, along with Buddha statues and Western Shia artifacts. These treasures serve as early evidence that this area was a crucial hub on the Silk Road, a vast trade network stretching over 4,000 miles connecting Asia and Europe. The discovery of finely crafted Sogdian gold and silver pieces confirms that merchants from Iran traveled to China to exchange goods. Since the tomb owners were members of the royal and noble classes, a common luxurious feature of these tombs, besides their noble burial goods, is that all tombs are covered with multiple layers of cypress wood. This burial method adhered strictly to feng shui principles, which the ancient people highly valued. Imagine the care taken to bury hundreds of tombs so meticulously and elaborately to ensure great fortune. Since ancient times, people have desired wealth, lasting family prosperity, and national peace even after death. Choosing a tomb site with proper feng shui and harmonious dragon veins was a way for the living to believe the deceased would bless future generations. The Tibetan Royal Tomb Complex fully meets these ancient feng shui criteria. Most tombs are backed by mountains and facing rivers, giving a sense of protection and stability from the mountains while opening toward the outside world via the river. Moreover, the tombs are covered with cypress wood, 9 layers stacked neatly atop each burial mound, which averages about 36 feet long, east to west, 121 feet wide, north to south, and up to 36 feet high. The base of the tombs is often paved with stone and wooden planks. Among the 4 major burial clusters, labeled M1, M2, M3, M4, The largest tomb stands on a natural hill about 98 feet tall, nestled against the Reihai mountain and facing the river, majestic as a city. Within this, the burial mound itself is about 36 feet high, 181 feet long, and 121 feet wide. Every meter vertically along the tomb's height, there is a neatly arranged cypress wood layer, totaling 9 layers, all made from thick cypress wood. This style and form of tomb construction is unique among all archaeological excavations ever conducted in China. In front of each burial cluster's gate, over 70 sets of animal skeletons, including livestock, horses, sheep, dogs, and deer, were buried as ritual offerings for the deceased. The entire complex was built in treacherous terrain, likely to ensure that the tomb owners would not be disturbed by mortal humans. Most notably, 2018 archaeological excavations at Tomb Number 1, M1, revealed it to be one of the most well-organized, clearly structured, and complex tombs discovered in this entire complex and on the Qinghai Tibet Plateau. This shows how strictly and meticulously ancient feng shui masters valued geomantic principles when building tombs thousands of years ago. Chinese historians and scholars evaluate the excavation of the Tibetan royal tomb complex as extremely valuable for studying Tibetan civilization history, pre-Tang dynasty tomb types in Western China, cultural and commercial exchanges between local areas and Central Asia, and discussions about Tibetan origins. The large quantity of silk fabrics excavated confirms that from the late 6th century to the latter half of the 8th century, Qinghai was a key trade hub on the Silk Road and an important transit point for east-west commerce. For this reason, the tomb complex, located at nearly 11,500 feet, is highly regarded by both China and the international community. In 1983, China's Ministry of Culture recognized the complex as one of the country's 6 most important archaeological discoveries. By 1996, after additional important finds, it was named by the State Administration of Cultural Heritage as one of China's top 10 archaeological discoveries of the year, becoming a national key cultural relic site. In 2021, following new excavations in 2020, the Tibetan Royal Tomb Complex was selected as one of China's top 10 archaeological discoveries of 2020. Then, in October 2021, it was again honored as one of the top 100 archaeological discoveries of the century. To this day, the tomb complex continues to attract Chinese archaeologists who seek to explore and decode its secrets. Remains of a high-class woman, dating back 5,000 years, discovered in Peru. In a groundbreaking discovery in Peru, archaeologists have just announced the excavation of the remains of a woman dating back as far as 5,000 years. A milestone that not only astonishes by its timeline, but also opens a completely new chapter in our understanding of the role of women in ancient civilizations. What makes this discovery especially remarkable is that the woman is believed to have belonged to the elite class of the Carral civilization, the oldest civilization in the Americas, dating back to the same era as the great civilizations of ancient Egypt, China, and Sumer in Mesopotamia. However, Carral stands out for a mysterious reason. It developed independently, with no influence from any other culture of the same period. Carral is located near the Pacific coast, about 112 miles from Lima, the capital of Peru. This ancient city is considered the earliest development center in the Americas, featuring large-scale architecture, a clearly stratified society, and a rich spiritual life. The latest discovery was made in the Aspero area, once an ancient garbage dump site within Carral, but one with enormous archaeological significance. David Palomino, the lead archaeologist of the excavation team, said this area was historically chosen as a burial site for individuals of high social status. The woman's remains were found in an astonishing state of preservation, and the items accompanying the tomb only add to the significance of the find. The body was wrapped in a coat made of feathers in 2 colors, green and brown. Experts believe the feathers came from Amazonian forest birds, most likely long-tailed parrots, a rare and valuable species not native to the coastal region where Carral is situated. The use of Amazonian bird feathers suggests not only extensive trade connections, but also great care and respect given to the deceased. Moreover, surrounding the tomb, archaeologists discovered many precious offerings, including intricately woven baskets, pottery vessels, dried gourds used as containers, and notably, the beak of a toucan, a tropical bird symbolically important in many ancient South American cultures. These items were not merely funerary objects, but reflected the high status of this woman within Corral society. She might have been a spiritual leader, a healer, or even a politically influential figure. While scientists have not yet been able to determine the exact date of her burial, the remains clearly provide strong evidence of the complex existence and development of the Corral civilization, which flourished around 3000 BCE. This discovery not only helps archaeologists better understand Corral's social structure, but also raises important questions about the role of women in early civilizations, whether they held more power, status, and influence than previously thought. Thus, beneath the dry earth of an ancient city near the Pacific Ocean, a forgotten story buried for 5,000 years is gradually coming to life, telling us about a woman who was once revered, and perhaps who helped shape the history of an entire civilization. The remains of a new human species. A recent archaeological discovery in Spain has sent shockwaves through the global scientific community, not only because of its age spanning millions of years, but also because it reveals a completely new chapter in the story of human evolution. Led by the Spanish National Research Center on Human Evolution, CNIEH, an international research team announced they have found a forgotten piece, a previously unknown human species, represented by a mysterious individual nicknamed Pink. Pink is not an official scientific classification, but rather an affectionate nickname given by researchers to this unusual specimen, discovered in 2022 at the famous Atapuerca archaeological site, located in the limestone mountains of Burgos Province, Spain. The initial find consisted only of parts of a jawbone and cheekbone, but these fossil fragments are rewriting the entire history of human presence in Europe. Using advanced dating techniques, the research team determined that Pink is approximately 1.1 to 1.4 million years old, a figure that grabs the attention of any anthropologist. Surprisingly, Pink's face is narrow, flat, and lacks the modern features typically seen in ancient humans from Europe of the same period. This has posed a challenging question for researchers. Who was Pink? Pink's remains were excavated from the same archaeological layer, rich in artifacts of Homo antecessor, an ancient human species that lived in Europe between about 800,000 and 1.2 million years ago. However, when the team reconstructed Pink's face and compared it with known species, they found similarities with Homo erectus, the upright man, believed to be a direct ancestor of many modern human branches and known to have lived in Africa and Asia over 2 million years ago. But the resemblance is not complete. Small yet important differences in facial bone structure show that Pink is neither Homo erectus nor Homo antecessor. This led scientists to propose a bold hypothesis. Pink belongs to a completely new human species, a forgotten evolutionary branch that may have arrived in Western Europe earlier than Homo antecessor, and one that had not previously been documented in the fossil record. Dr. Maria Martinon Torres, director of CNIEH and head of the research team, suggests that Pink's ancestors likely did not migrate from Africa via the Strait of Gibraltar, as traditional migration theories claim, but rather from Eastern Europe, following a lesser-known route supported by several archaeological traces. Some evidence indicates human activity at Europe's gateways as early as 2 million years ago, meaning there was ample time for early waves of migration to reach Western Europe very early on. At the site where Pink was discovered, archaeologists also found stone tools and animal bones with cut marks, clear evidence that these early humans knew how to manufacture and use tools for hunting, butchering, and processing food. Though primitive, these tools demonstrate early humans' high adaptability to a warm, humid, and resource-rich environment. The discovery of Pink was published in the prestigious scientific journal Nature, sparking wide interest among researchers. However, the story is far from over. Excavations at Atapuerca continue, a place that may still hold many more secrets about the species Pink represents. Is this the missing link in our evolutionary journey? Or is it an independent branch that once coexisted alongside other ancient humans but eventually went extinct and was forgotten? But you see, whoever Pink really was, every bone fragment and artifact excavated is not just fossil evidence, it is a whisper from the past, helping us listen to the very beginning of human history. The deeper we dig into the past, the more we realize that human history is not just written in books, it is engraved in every bone, every stone, quietly resting underground for millions of years. Pink's story may be just one of countless mysteries waiting to be uncovered. So what if Pink isn't unique? What if there are many other ancient human species out there that we have never known? And not only Earth, could distant planets like Mars once have had civilizations erased by time? Share your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think Pink was? Where did she come from? And what message does she bring from the past? And if you're passionate about the journey to uncover humanity's origins and the mysteries of the universe, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to explore more fascinating stories together. For now, goodbye and see you on the next adventure.